Welcome. In this video, we're going to be doing a review of how to create a new staff user in your function point system. You'll need to start by navigating to your own internal company's details page, or the office within your function point system. You can do this by hovering your cursor over the company's module, hovering over View. If you've looked at your own company recently, it will be available in this list. If you haven't, you can select a Find Company and do a search. Once you are looking at the company details page for your own internal company, you'll need to add a contact. Up at the top right corner, within the action buttons, notice the option to add a contact. Here you will then enter the information for the new user you want to create. You will need to make sure that their contact type is selected to staff. This is what will allow you to add them as a new user in the system. Click Submit, and our contact is now created. The next step is to add them as a user in function point. We can do this by going into the admin section, in an area called Rate and Staff Management, and a sub-area called Manage Staff, Staff Rates, Staff Permissions. Selecting this will bring you to the Admin Staff Find list. This shows a list of all the users in your function point system, regardless of whether or not they are active. Up at the top right corner, you'll notice an option to add staff. Select Add Staff, and this brings you to the Add Staff page. Here you will see a drop-down. This drop-down will consist of all the contacts that you have created with a contact type of staff that have not been activated as users within your function point system. Select the individual, and it will automatically fill in with that individual's abbreviation, as well as their username and default password. The default password is always the first letter of the person's first name and their entire last name with no space. It is important to note that when creating a new user, the Force Reset Password checkbox will automatically be selected. This means that when this person logs in for the first time using these credentials, the system will force them to create a new password. This is something we typically recommend. Once you have entered this information, click Submit. The next page that we will see will be the Manage Staff Permissions page. This is where we can establish the permissions and access levels for the new user that we have created. Here you can either load a permission set that already exists in your system and/or manually customize the access levels that you want this individual to have. Once you have granted them the permissions that you want, click Submit at the bottom right corner. The next page you will see will be the Individual Staff Override Rates page. This is where you can establish billing rates for the specific user that you've created. Here, your rate categories will be displayed. Whatever rate category setup you have in Function Point, you will see here. The company default rates will be provided. If the new user has rates that differ from the company default rates, you will need to enter them here. If they do not differ, simply skip this step, and this new user will have the company default rates. Click Submit at the top right corner, and that is your user now created. They have a permission structure, and they have a rate structure. That concludes this video on creating new staff. Please continue checking out more of our training videos for more helpful information on using Function Point.